Go ahead.
All right, I have 6:31. Is everybody ready? All right, I'm
Ready.
going to open the meeting at 6:31 for the Planning Commission for April 28, 2026. This meeting, we're not going to create a chair yet until all members are filled. So we're just going to go ahead and start the meeting. Christy, do you want to go ahead and open the meeting for us?
Sure. Do you want to do roll call for me?
Yeah. Mhm. Okay. Roll call. Kyle.
Yes.
Alice.
Yes.
Mayor Andy. Drew?
Yes.
Melanie.
Yes.
All right. Courtney is here, and Christy, the zoning administrator.
Okay, so at 6:32, I'm going to go ahead and open the public portion of the hearing. This is going to be for Arbor Homes, parcel number 17-00363.001, and the request is for a final plat approval for Heritage Fields subdivision. The applicant is in the audience, and I do ask that anybody in the audience planning to speak, raise your right hand for me, and you swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, say I do. Okay, we will turn it over to Arbor Homes.
And if we could please have whoever's speaking, please come to the microphone, either or, at either corner.
Here. Does it turn?
Thank you.
Is that gonna be the same thing that's in their packet?
It is the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here's an extra.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you all for having us here tonight. My name is Drew Miller. I'm with Arbor Homes, 6797 North High Street, Worthington, Ohio. I have had the pleasure of meeting several of you over the past, 6 months or so. We are getting really close on this project as far as engineering goes. And what we're asking for tonight, so this is what we would call the final development plan or the final plat. Really, what we're asking you to look at is if anything has changed substantially from the last time we were at Planning Commission with this same plan. I can tell you that nothing has changed except we have reduced the lot count by 2 lots. Our engineer's here with us tonight, Craig Stevenson. He can explain a little bit more about that if you have questions. But we did lose 2 lots since the original plan we shared with you. That was mainly due to looking at where stormwater might flow through the site. And so total lot count's at 190. And I know when we were at City Council, we talked a little bit about the landscaping and things like that. We were able to incorporate some trees and things like that that I know Council was interested in. That's not shown on this plan. That's not what we're asking for approval for tonight. The approval tonight would be literally what you see on this piece of paper here. So it's things like the lot counts. Basically everything you see here, it's really an engineering standpoint. And the preliminary plan that was approved allowed us to do some more engineering. And so that's where we got to where we are today. So the project has kind of been progressing along, and that's what we're asking for approval for. So if anybody has any questions about anything, we're happy to answer them for you.
So the only thing that changed from this and the one you brought us last time is 2 lots?
Yep.
It's smaller.
Yeah, we lost 2 lots.
So you said landscaping will be addressed in the next plans, is that right?
I guess each municipality kind of handles that differently. The landscaping plans that we shared with you at City Council, I believe that was in January. Yeah, so the only thing that changed from that plan is we incorporated more trees, like
Okay.
you had asked for.
Now, we had asked for street lights.
Streetlights,
Is
yes.
that, I do not see that on this plan, is that
Yeah,
gonna,
we did incorporate streetlights too. It's just the way that, from an engineering and approval standpoint, it's not shown on this plan.
okay,
So this plan is more like engineering focused.
Okay.
But the streetlights, the additional trees and stuff, that is captured in a different plan. Christy, I'm not sure if you could explain how that is reviewed and approved, but we could provide that as like an additional exhibit when it goes to council.
okay. And then another, question was the width of the street.
Yeah.
Our concern is when there's cars parked on the street, a fire truck fitting through there.
Right.
Is,
Yeah, so I understand that was a concern. We have looked at that from an engineering standpoint, and I believe we spoke to the fire chief, and what we're showing here is basically what's recommended.
okay,
What's the width?
So it is 32 feet, basically from back of curb to back of curb. 33 feet, actually.
So when you had spoken to the chief, is, when you say recommended, is that something that you guys recommended, or is that something he was satisfied with?
My understanding is that that is satisfying the requirements from what they would want.
On his part?
Yeah.
so it's my understanding there will only be parking on one side of the street in this development?
I don't know if that came up as a restriction. Do you guys recall if parking on one side of the street was ever mentioned? I don't think that that was a concern from their standpoint.
Okay, so there should be enough room to park on both sides and get a fire truck?
At 33 feet, yes.
Okay,
32 feet.
Yeah, I
30.
think we brought that up because of young families, and as the kids get older and get their license and having another
Then
vehicle.
you have 4
or
cars per
multiple
house.
vehicles,
Yeah.
and trying to park at the house.
Yeah, that's something we discuss basically for every neighborhood we go into. So it's from center line to the back of the curb here. You can see it's 16.5 feet. So that's where I'm getting the 33 feet. So that would be, yeah, that would be standard
Okay.
for parking on both sides of the streets. We have had neighborhoods where they were like, no, only park on one side of the street. Honestly, it's kind of an inconvenience for people.
oh, I know, I live
daily.
in one of those neighborhoods.
And if the emergency equipment can get through, then they're like, yeah, we're fine with it.
Okay. And what is the width of the sidewalks? Are they gonna be both sides?
They are both sides, 5 feet.
Okay.
Okay, and with the trees, I mean, we're all wanting, you know, landscaping and all that. But with added trees, is that going to affect the sewer and the, water lines with their roots and each house having like a clean out line?
So that's definitely something we're concerned about. So we always kind of review that when we decide where to put trees. We are gonna put, what we're calling street trees in, but we're gonna move them behind the sidewalk to avoid any conflicts with sewer lines or sanitary lines like that. And at the last city council meeting, we did talk pretty heavily about all the landscaping throughout the plan, and so, I think it was your recommendation to add some additional trees, which we were able to incorporate, so.
And we were talking, one in the front yard and then one in the backyard. So there shouldn't be any sewer lines or anything like that in the backyard.
Right.
No.
No.
Yeah, and,
And didn't know where you were gonna do the clean out lines for the houses.
right, yeah, that's definitely something we always take into consideration because, just for the homeowners, like, long-term, whether those tree plantings are gonna be an issue or not. So we always try to avoid those, putting trees where they would interfere with that.
And that may be up to, the homeowners themselves, whether they want those additional tree, you know.
Yeah, so, yeah, when a homeowner comes to us to purchase a home, we provide them, I think our standard is like 1 front yard tree and 3 bushes. They can add more if they want, but that's what we give them essentially with the purchase of a home, and those will be in the front yards.
When did you wanna, Christie, open it for public comment? Did you wanna take any from the audience?
That's all I had to add, so, yeah.
Or with the
Yeah,
applicant?
I guess I'm done with, what other questions do you have before we open it to the public?
The only other question I had was, with the additional housing and everything, is the infrastructure is the community gonna be able to, what's the word?
Support it?
Support it, thank you, support the infrastructure.
Yeah, they are. Those were some of the initial conversations we had with the village. We are gonna be extending water lines and sanitary lines down to this development. They'll be passing through the property just adjacent to the park. And so the church owns that property, so they would have access to tap into that eventually too. But yeah, those capacity studies are definitely something we've considered.
Is this an HOA?
There will be an HOA, yep.
And the streets be public or private?
The streets will be public. All the landscaping things, those will be maintained by the HOA.
And then I know, we had discussed a walking path to the park
Right.
is that gonna be towards 207 in the front of the complex or more towards the back?
It's gonna be towards the front,
Okay.
yep.
All right.
What about lighting for that on the walking path?
We have not planned any street lighting for the multi-use path. I believe, just kind of based on, I don't think we'd want to encourage people to walk down that route at night. I think if the church ends up developing their property or building something there, I think it would probably be an appropriate time to add lighting if people wanted to cross that property. But our view of it was that we would want to discourage people from using that path at night.
Well,
I think the park closes like at 10 or 11.
Yeah, it closes at dark
At
anyways.
dusk, yeah.
Yeah, it does get dark.
So I also see here that you have a couple retention ponds. Retention ponds, at least here in Ohio, hold water for a considerable amount of time,
Right.
which that is a breeding ground for the geese. And let me tell you, I lived in a community where we had a goose problem. We had a beautiful park, but you couldn't walk in the park or even let your little kids run in the park because of this. How do you plan on controlling that?
So that's something we've looked into with our HOAs. While the neighborhood's being built out, Arbor Homes is in kind of control of that HOA. And so we hire all the maintenance, all the landscapers. If we notice that geese are becoming like an ongoing nuisance or something, there is services you can hire, companies that will come out and put up ways to deter them. I've seen people you can hire and they'll bring their dogs out and let their dogs run around the pond to scare the geese. It might be an ongoing battle to kind of figure that out, but if we do notice that that's becoming a nuisance, we'll have to address it in some way.
We have any other questions for the applicant?
I have a question.
Okay, wait a second. Yeah, board's got to finish first, and then
I just
we'll
have,
open it up.
I have a question, and Melanie probably can attest to this too, is how long does that HOA stay there? Because, as you know, Wingate had a phase 1 and a phase 2, and it seems like it was obsolete after they were gone.
Oh.
So then is the HOA stay there and somebody conducts it? Because I think at that point, Melanie, you might know some more information of that too, is that people were paying dues and fees to something that didn't exist.
Oh, wow.
And then the HOA now it becomes a village inheritance.
Oh. Yeah, so.
How long does that, are they required? If they don't pay them, then does it stop? I mean, how does that happen? Because it wasn't your guys' second phase.
Wow. So I'm not familiar with something like that happening. When we set up an HOA, there's a declaration of covenants, restrictions, things like that, and that's recorded like in the deed with the property. And so that'll exist in perpetuity. That's a deeded restriction on each individual lot that they're required to join that HOA. They're required to pay those dues. And we hire a property management company who kind of organizes all of that stuff for us. They, the people who live in our neighborhoods, they have access to an online portal where they can go in and pay their HOA dues. They can see who is elected on those boards and the committees of those HOAs. So yeah, those will exist in perpetuity. It's deeded restricted on those properties. So anytime, if somebody sells their
I
home,
wonder how yours.
I have no idea, because
And the other reason why I ask that is because HOAs somewhat make their own rules and regulations. We have a nuisance and abatement committee that handles, such actions of,
Yeah.
What if you can't paint a purple fence and I want a purple fence? I
Right.
mean, I guess I'm interested in those sort of rules because
Yeah.
that would affect the villages because they do have a nuisance too, so.
yeah.
HOAs would not have the ability to override ordinance.
Okay, so they would, okay,
Would be one level below.
okay.
Right, and we do have architectural guidelines and restrictions when it comes to like things like what color you can paint your house, your front door, where you can plant things, what you can plant, things like that. So those are all kind of written and spelled out. Now, once we hand that HOA over to the community and they elect their own board, it's kind of up to them. It's a democratic system.
Is
however
it sort
they-
of up to the community at that point to keep the HOA up and running?
Right.
Or, because I kind of
Yeah.
feel like that's what happened in my neighborhood. It was up to the community and everybody was like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And it kind of went away.
And then it
It
didn't
is.
exist.
Yeah.
It is up to the community. I don't know of any scenarios of how those would be dissolved.
It's still technically there, but it's not.
So
Like,
like, do you pay like, that's what.
No, I
know
have
this
never
is
paid an
probably not
HOA fee.
Pertain to that, but,
Yeah.
I mean, where's the fee go, I guess, yeah.
I've never paid it. Never paid it.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with something
I didn't
like
even
that.
know there was an HOA till I moved in and somebody told me.
Oh my
I wasn't
gosh.
told that when I bought the house.
Wow.
I have no
okay.
idea.
But we
Any,
just wanna be prepared as
Sure.
a village to.
Yeah.
any other questions from the board before we open it up to the public?
I want to back up a little bit. I'm sorry, I'm coming into this late.
Oh,
so-
yeah, no, it's,
So this, I'm learning all of it, but I have a good gist, but,
yeah.
one of my concerns is with the water and the sewer, if we could back up to that again.
Sure.
You're saying you're gonna tap onto this, but have you checked with the village itself to see if we're capable of handling another 190 homes? That's an additional burden on the sewer plant. And how do you plan on getting that to the sewer plant? Let's talk to that part.
Yeah.
Are you planning on having a pump station and pumping it down to us? Or is this gonna be gravity fed? The same with the water, that,
Yeah.
this is an additional 190 homes.
Yeah.
I know we have an abundance of water and I know from time to time we sell it.
Right.
So, I'd like to discuss that, 'cause
Yeah.
that's rather important, because does that mean we have to drill another well somewhere?
No, so we are running at roughly 1/3 rated capacity today on both sewer and water, and I won't speak for the engineer, he is here and present, and I am not a civil engineer, I won't say that at all. But to answer your question, yes, it's gone through a rather lengthy engineering process, and we've been it's been very good to work with Harold Stevenson Associates from Circleville with our civil engineer that we retain on the part of the village. So the two have worked together to engineer the solution. I won't say what that is right now. It's a pump station, to answer your point, but I don't know any more about that because it's a technicality, but the engineer can answer questions for you if you would like. But yes, we have plenty of capacity, and there's no technical issue with doing that.
Okay, thank you.
Craig, do you want to speak a little bit more to the engineering, the lift station?
I can. Mayor did yeah, so on the sanitary sewer side of things, it will be a lift station and force main back to, we're actually pumping back to the spot that the village thought would be best is through the park, and it's actually near the water plant, so that hits like a trunk line that is a pretty direct shot back to the plant. I'm sorry, Craig Stevenson with Harrell and Stevenson.
Thank you.
Was civil engineer for the project. Water is in a similar location where we'll bring that back, and it's gonna tap right near the water plant, right near the tower, so almost like a direct line back to the plant.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? We open up to the public? Okay. Nick, do you have a
Can you
question?
please, come?
You have to
state
come
your
and,
first
you have
last name
to
and
speak
when
into the
you reside.
microphone, please.
Mick Phillips, 205 New Street, Mount Sterling. I'm just curious, how many entrances and exits are there to the development?
So we have one main entrance that is right off of State Route 207. Yeah, and so what we're doing is we're gonna divide that with a sort of boulevard so that in case of emergency, if one of the entrances is blocked, people can still get through to the other one. So that'll be the main entrance, and then we're providing 3 additional stub streets. That's kind of just good planning for the future. We don't have any plans to develop anything outside of this development, but in case somebody eventually comes along, could be 5 years from now, could be 30 years from now, if somebody wants to come in and develop some additional houses, we've got stub streets there so that they can tie into
And
the
are we
neighborhood.
still looking at 3 phases? Is that the initial thought?
Yeah, I
Okay.
believe is it 3 phases? Yeah.
And beginning construction potentially, or beginning moving dirt, or?
Moving dirt, July?
Okay.
Yeah, if plans approved here, July.
be July in what year? This year?
Yep.
So this, it says Strout Lane, that feeds into the village?
So, oh, I'm sorry, this is 207, so
Yes.
Mason Park.
Yeah.
Some Park Street.
Access here and now?
No, this is, farm field right here.
So there's only one really entrance and exit?
Yep.
That's the only way in now?
You need the microphone for it.
Okay, Joyce, you wanna come up and?
Thank you. Joyce Phillips, 205 New Street, Mount Sterling, Ohio. I just have one quick question. On the trees and landscaping, can a resident literally say, I don't want any trees?
No, they can't. They can't. No, so we are putting a
We're not
tree.
moving.
Yes, so we will be putting the trees in their front yards, the way that they're shown on our, not these plans, but the other plans. And then, basically, the way the HOA is operated, if a resident wanted to take out their tree, they would have to ask the committee for permission to do that. If they wanted to replant a different tree or different species or something, they would have to ask for permission.
So if they wanted to remove the trees that you planted, they still have to go to the HOA and approve that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Anybody have any further questions for the applicant before we close the public portion of the hearing? You do? Okay.
Nathan Pitzer, 93 Jefferson Street. The water main that's going out there, what was the size of that? Was it 8 or 12?
Currently proposed is 8-inch. Most of the larger water mains in the village, kind of the backbone of the village system, is an 8-inch line. So I think we are where we tap at the plant is tapping a 10, but yes, we're proposing an 8-inch line to extend out.
So one of the messages I was tagged in with Chief Taylor in regards to the street width, which you guys did, was a concern about the line as well, going to 12. Is that something that we can negotiate on?
So I guess,
I mean, because that's one development, and obviously the village is going to grow eventually.
Right.
And why not go ahead and get it done, and versus.
Do you want to take that as probably?
Yeah, like I kind of mentioned, so the 8-inch services our neighborhood. If the village was interested in upsizing that for some future growth, that this would probably be a good opportune time to do that. But the 8-inch service is what we're proposing to build. So we have seen some communities who said, hey, we're anticipating future growth. Usually that's if there's another developer who's kind of banging on the door, who's ready to do something, even though they might not officially be submitted yet. But like I said, it would be an opportune time for us to go ahead and upsize that. But the burden at that point would be on the village, because what we're putting in can service this neighborhood.
All right, thanks.
Yep.
Paul, any other questions for the?
So, Nathan was just up here and talked about the fire service. Like I said again, I'm sorry I'm coming into this late. How many fire hydrants do you have planned for this site?
I haven't personally counted them. Do you have an
I don't
idea?
I don't have an exact number. I would have to go through and count too. They're spaced approximately every 250 feet on average. So the goal is to be one within 300, two within 500 is kind of the fire code goal to get to. Yeah.
And that's something you guys are supplying, the hydrants?
That's all baked in the plan.
Then back up a little bit with these trees. How do you guys propose at the end of the season to clean up the leaves? I don't believe we currently have.
No,
a
we do not collect, no.
Yeah, so in what we call the common areas that are owned by the HOA, we do have landscaping maintenance contracts. And so that would be kind of included, as far as how they collect those, what they do with them. I don't know exactly where they take those. I'm assuming just like some compost facilities or something. But yeah, it's kind of all packaged into our landscaping maintenance.
I was just wondering, because if you have a tree on every property, that's about every 40 foot you're gonna have a tree.
Right.
That's an awful lot of leaves in one season,
Sure.
especially once the trees are about 10 years old.
Yeah, and so, yeah, any trees on the individual property owner's lot would be up to the homeowners.
The way that I would look at it is that your neighborhood, for example, and mine as well, has lots of trees in it. So I would basically look at it from that perspective, that in 20 years, it's gonna look like that.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of leaves to get rid of.
We do that, we work with that, we work on that every year, yeah. Yeah.
Is that all of the questions?
Once, okay, you guys said that once the houses are built, then it becomes the village. So then the
In-
snow removal and.
Yes, snow removal and basic maintenance is done by the village at that point, yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
We don't mind all the questions. I know you guys, this is the first time you all are seeing it, so.
How's come there's only one entrance and one exit? Because this is a large amount of homes in a small development, with one way in and one way out.
Right. Yeah,
It looks like they're close together.
yeah, so we, yep, we, you know, a lot of that depends on the shape of the parcel, and how we design our neighborhood. Like I said, we do put those stub streets in eventually for future growth that could tie into, I'm not sure where. As far as this one location on State Route 207, that we hear that concern, like if there's one entrance, what happens if it's blocked, how do emergency services get back there? And what we do is we widen that main entrance. So if there was multiple entrances to this neighborhood off 207, it would have been, each one would have been a little bit narrower. What we did is we widen this one. There's gonna be a tree lawn kind of landscaped area in between the entrance and the exit lane. And so what that does is it creates a big wider entrance. We've talked about this with different municipalities like fire departments, fire chiefs, as to, you know, does this really solve an issue? If there's an accident or something on 207, are you still gonna be able to get around? And they said, yeah, this is basically the solution to that, is you create a dedicated ingress and egress for the site so that you always have one option to get in or out.
Would you guys be on 207 making a separate entrance to a turn lane?
We are,
So would
yeah.
207 be then, as it is right now, one direction, and then you guys would have a turn?
Yes, so we did a traffic study early on, and what it said was, based on how many homes you're putting in here and the traffic that already exists on 207, you're gonna be required to put a dedicated turn lane in to the neighborhood. And so we will be widening 207 on the west side there, on our side of the development, for a dedicated turn lane into the development.
Okay.
Okay. Are we comfortable?
What is the fire chief comfortable with this setup?
Yes, we've gone through the process with the fire chief.
Okay.
Well, that was like at the first.
That was yeah.
Reasoning I said, as far as the street width is what was one of his main concerns.
Yeah.
I have not personally spoke with him. I have not.
Nathan, you go to these meetings, correct? Is there gonna need discussion?
Other than the water main concern, as far as that goes, he feels that's gonna be a big mistake if we just stay with an 8-inch versus 12.
Yeah, and I think that's probably a village question, if you all wanted to upsize it for future growth. Like I said, we don't have any plans for any future growth beyond this. So it's probably worth a discussion with your council to decide if you guys want to upsize that.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna close the public portion of the hearing at 7 o'clock, and that means there'll be no more comments or questions from the public. Okay, and we're gonna ask for the board to go into, I need a motion. I need a first and a second, and then the board can deliberate amongst themselves, and then we'll have a vote.
So the board's gonna ask to go into a motion at, a deliberation at 7 PM.
Mhm.
The public hearing was closed at 7. We're gonna enter at 7, so would somebody like to make a motion for that?
I will make a motion to approve this.
You have to,
Well, yeah,
you
we have to
have a
go-
discussion
we have to
first.
go
So
into discussion.
now we're basically coming out of a meeting and so that you guys can deliberate amongst yourselves.
Okay,
So Melanie would be to go into a discussion with the board only.
okay, I will
Is there a
make,
second?
A motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any objections? Okay, you guys can deliberate amongst
Okay,
yourselves.
now I need a motion first. I need a motion.
I would like to make a motion to approve the plat map.
Okay, well, that's what I was, yeah. Motion to approve plat map was taken by Mayor Drake.
Any, conditions and?
I would like to add to that, that we approve it upon approval from the final engineering.
I don't know what it means. What does that mean?
That means we are gonna take this as long as the engineer agrees with,
You mean our civil engineer?
Yes.
Our
Yes.
civil engineer has been working with them on the project all along. So if you,
But she hasn't had, she's obviously doesn't know that.
well, I did mention that, but our civil engineer has been working with Harold Stevenson Associates all along. So what are you looking for from our civil engineer then?
An approval.
An approval, a signed plan? Okay. We can do that.
And then we need a second?
Okay, yeah, so the motion changed, so, Mayor Drake just approved it as a plat map. Melanie's actually approving it upon approval from final civil engineering.
To be clear, from the village's civil engineer,
Yes,
right?
yep. Okay, so that was Melanie. Is there a, second on that?
I'll second it.
Thank you.
That was Alice. Okay, we're gonna do a roll call. Kyle?
Yes.
Alice?
Yes.
Mayor Drake?
Yes?
Melanie?
yes?
Okay, the motion is passed.
Thank you all. If you have
Yep.
any questions or something, I
Council.
could give them those to my contact information, so I'm happy to answer additional questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you wanna come out of this at 7:03?
I'll make a motion to leave this portion at 7:03.
Okay, Andy?
Mm-hmm.
And is there a second?
I'll second it.
Melanie? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any objections? Okay. Meeting is adjourned.
Thank you very much.
So. If the village wanted